Want to dynamically create objects in Unity with a single line of code? In this video, we will learn how to use the Instantiate method to spawn objects into your scene. Let's jump right in. As a bonus, I will show how to spawn an object at random locations, for example, as an obstacle in your game. First, let's create a prefab. In the hierarchy, add a 3D object like a cube. Now, drag the cube from the hierarchy into the assets folder to create a prefab. This will be the object we spawn. I'll just quickly rename it to have a prefix. Next, let's write a script to spawn the prefab. Create an empty game object, name it spawner, and attach a new script called obstacle spawner. And I'll delete the obstacle we have here, just to make our scenes clear. I've opened this script and deleted everything to start afresh. First of all, we need serialized field variables for a prefab and for the transform parent. I have also created an obstacle spawn interval for a bonus part. Let's create a spawn object method, which we will be using as a button thanks to the inspector pro button package, which I will link in the description. Just like private void spawn obstacles, and above it I will write a drop play button to make it clickable in the play mode. To spawn objects, we use Instantiate. It takes from 1 up to 4 arguments. Let's talk about each one. First, basic. What it does: creates a copy of the specified prefab at the origin in a workspace, with no rotation. To do that, we just use Instantiate with one parameter, and it is obstacle prefab. Let's test it out. I have assigned a prefab to the obstacle prefab field and an obstacle parent to the obstacle parent. As you can see, here we have a button which we use from the package, and we are ready to go. Now, when I click a spawn object button, you can see that the cube appears. When I click it once again, the new cube appears in the main scene. They have no rotation, and the position are right in front of the camera. Second, with position and rotation. What it does: spawns a prefab at the given position with a specified rotation. Let's create it. Private void spawn obstacles with position, and I will add a prop play button once again, and I will create a position which will be new vector 0 with a random location between -1 and 1, and I will instantiate a prefab with given position and with quaternion identity. This means there will be no rotation and the object will be rotated properly. Let's test it out once again. Okay, and when I click the second button, spawn object with position, you can see there are different cubes that appear at the random location. Third, with a parent. What it does: creates a prefab as a child of the specified parent transform while keeping its local position and rotation the same as the original prefab. To do that, we create another prop play button function, spawn object with a parent, and we will provide a parent, obstacle parent, to instantiate it. Let's test it out. And you can see that there is an obstacle here behind the obstacle parent. When I create it once again, there are new objects. And in the same view, they are located under regular location. Fourth, with position, rotation, and parent. What it does: combine the second and the third overloads. The prefab is spawned at a specific position and rotation, and also set as a child at a specified parent. To do so, we will create once again a function which is called ugly, but it does the thing, and we will provide as a last parameter an obstacle parent. And now you can see there are cubes that are spawned at the random location, and they are children of the obstacle parent. Now let's get them be spawned at the random location with a given time interval. To do so, we start a coroutine, which will be waiting for the interval and then after that we'll invoke a spawn with position function. And in the start, I will start a coroutine, which will be called spawn obstacles constantly, and I will create it. In the while loop, I will be waiting for the obstacle spawn interval, and then I will instantiate an obstacle with a random position. And let's test it out. As you can see, cubes are constantly appearing in the scene with interval of 1 second, and their position is random. And that's it! You've just learned how to dynamically create objects in Unity using Instantiate. Add this to your game for endless possibilities. If this was helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more Unity tips or tutorials. See you in the next one. Ciao!